Thanks for tuning in to another video. So, are you thinking about buying an Amazfit Active, but you want to learn a little more about it before you commit? Well, I hope this video will help. I think the Amazfit Active falls in between a budget watch and a premium Amazfit watch. Not a premium watch, but a premium Amazfit watch falls in the price range of about $225 to $300 in the United States. It does offer some premium features. It does have a great battery life, and I think it's a great value. In this video, I'll talk about the build, the features, the premium features that you get on it, and some cons, which there always are, and my general recommendation. So let's talk about the build quality. First, Amazfit says it's made out of aluminum and plastic, but basically it's plastic. And there's a little aluminum band here that encircles the display there. But mostly it's plastic, which is okay. The plastic looks actually pretty nice. It's kind of a matte finish here, so not a lot of fingerprints getting on there. And the quality seems just fine. Again, it's just not, premium material, but plastic works okay. And again, this is an aluminum alloy here, but if you do get the lavender purple color, then you get a stainless steel band. It is rated for 5 atmospheres, which is nice, and it is very light, 24 grams without the strap, and 27 if you get the purple color, because it does have that stainless steel there. So let me just walk around the watch here. If we look on the side here, we got the one button, and this does have two functions, a quick press and a long press. And the long press you can customize if you'd like. Then over here, if you could see that, you got the microphone here. These are the sensors in the back. And then we got a speaker on this side, so this watch can make and take phone calls, which is really nice, but there is no LTE version, so you do need your phone hooked up with Bluetooth to make and take phone calls on this. Now, just to be a little picky here, I did find it a little harder to press this button. And I'll just try to show you this on the video, but if you can see here, this plate where the button is kind of recessed back a little bit, and the button only sticks out a very little bit. And so having the watch on your wrist, you got to sort of push underneath here and, to push the button. I mean, I'm being real picky here, but I'm just letting you know. I found that just a little harder to push than some other watches. Now, some other watches have bigger buttons that stick out, and actually they get triggered when you just move your wrist. You'll, activate it. So that was no issue with this one. But that button there is just a little, smaller and just a little harder to press sometimes. And let's talk about the straps here. This quick release straps on all, or almost all of Amazfit watches here. So you just push these pins out and take this out, and you can get any 20 millimeter band will fit in here. Some Amazfit products are 22, so just be careful. This is a 20 millimeter standard band that can go into here. Now let me just show you the straps on here, and there is a little bit of a con we're going to get into right off the bat. This is the Amazfit Bip 5, and I am going to do a comparison video of these two, because this is just a little more of a budget watch. If you don't feel like you need all the features of the Active, you can go into the Bip 5, which is a little less expensive. But if you could just look and see the bands here, this band is definitely wider here. It is longer. I'll try to get this in the video. Just had to orientate these things so we could see this in the video. But the band on the Bip 5 here is longer, bigger, wider, and actually also thicker. Now, there's probably a joke in there somewhere, but it's a family video, so let's just keep moving. But this band, Bip 5, actually the band was much more comfortable. And with this one, I have a 7.5-inch wrist, and let me just put this on for you. So again, I have a 7.5-inch wrist here. Now I could probably get into the third hole, but some days you just get hot or whatever, you're having a bad day. I'm in the last hole on this one, and it's just not a lot of tag there to go underneath, and the band is just kind of on the edge of what you need it to be, for me at least. If you have a smaller wrist, this might work a little bit better. I felt like it was a little too small, and it wasn't quite as comfortable as some other bands that I've had. So the Amazfit Active comes in one size, but it does come in 3 colors. We do get the midnight black, which is the one I have here, petal pink, and the lavender purple. And like I said, that lavender purple does have the stainless steel, so it does have that shiny band that goes around the display. What about the price on this? That's always important, right? So in the United States, this one is retailing for $149.99, so basically $150, which is not bad. Like I said, I'll cover some of the features that you get on this, which is a little more than a budget watch, and you could make your decision if it's good for you. Let's talk about the display. So you can see the bezels on here. I mean, not super thick, but not super thin either. You do get a 1.75 AMOLED display with a resolution of 390 by 450, and that gives you a PPI of 341 if you were interested. And the AMOLED display does give you an always-on display, which is very nice. The always-on display, you could have the watch decide when it should be on and off, or you could actually schedule it, or you could just leave it on all the time. So the one big negative on the screen is that there is no auto brightness on here, and that's a real big negative for me, because if you kind of have your brightness set for inside, and then you're going to go outside for a workout, or if you're just going outside, you can't even see the screen because it's all washed out, and then you got to sort of kind of find the setting to make it brighter, and it's just kind of difficult. The good thing is that it's kind of easy to toggle the brightness screen here. I have it right here, and you could just hit this, and then you could, kind of just move this up and down if you want. And it is, I thought it was plenty bright, even in direct sunlight, so I didn't have any issues seeing it. The big thing, like I said, is just the adjustment. The other issue was the adjustment at night. If you're going to bed and, you got the screen, you got to kind of modify the brightness on it or put it on sleep mode or something like that. Otherwise, it is very bright. So the other big negative is there's no tap to wake on this. Now, if you just shut off the screen, or if the screen just went off, you could tap it and you can get the screen to come on. But if it's off, I don't know exactly how long it is, a couple of minutes. If it's off more than that, then you can't tap it and you got to hit that button. And the button, like I said, is a bit of a pain to turn on. Or you could raise your wrist to wake up the screen. So let me show you the navigation on here, which is pretty standard on all Amazfit products. But if you swipe down here, you get the quick toggles, and you get 2 screens of them, and these could all be adjusted and customized. So just for your knowledge and your information, that might be helpful. Anytime I get a new watch, I do an unboxing video where I go over the settings and I show you how to pair it with your phone, just so there's no issues doing that. Then I wear this for a few weeks and show you the watch and go over all the features like I'm doing today. Then I also do have a customization video where I go over all the things that can be customized on these. All your display settings, or moving all your apps and your widgets and changing everything. Sometimes they're a little long, sorry about that, but they are, I think, have useful information. So check those out if you are interested. So let's keep going. If you swipe over here, we get into the widgets, and you can just keep going on all those, and you can adjust all these, add them and subtract them and all that kind of stuff, so that's nice. But another nice Amazfit option is that if you swipe over this way, you get your shortcut cards. And then basically, it's like the widgets. There's a couple extra options in here, but you can also scroll through them so quickly, which is really nice. It does give you like all your daily activities, your weather, your events, all that kind of stuff you could put on there. And that's all customizable as well. But it's nice to get real quick access of it, especially since there's no rotating crown or anything on this watch. Going through the widgets is sometimes a little bit of a pain, especially if like 10 widgets on there. It takes a while to scroll through them all. So if you just scroll this way, and you can go through these very quickly, which is nice. Then the last option is you swipe up and you get into your notifications. Not much you could do on that. So I'll just tell you now, though, just so it's no surprise, is on the notifications on your text messages, you don't get any images on there. And a lot of emojis are not there as well. So they are adding emojis to them, so there are some in there. It used to be like none, but now there are a few. Hopefully that will change with the software update, but that's the status of it now. So if you're on the home screen, you hit the button, you get into your app list, and there's a lot in here. And if you are anywhere other than the home screen, hitting the button will take you back to the home screen. So now if you push and hold it, I get into my settings menu. That's what I have it set for, and you can customize that to whatever you want. And I get into this a lot more in my customization video, but I'll just show you quickly here. We go into preferences, and I'm just going to go into the long press side button just to show you what we can do here. Any of these things could be toggled on the long press, so you can click on any of these. So if there's an app that you use frequently, you can just hit it there, and it will pop up anytime you want. Now, as far as the chipset and, the RAM and the memory and all that kind of stuff that's on here, I don't know what it is. And I could not find it anywhere. If anyone knows where it is or has that information, please put it in the comments. That would be great. But I feel like the software, the Amazfit software and the hardware matched very well, because I never had any stutters with this. No glitches, no, watch resets or anything like that. Okay, let's get into the battery life. So the battery on here is a 300 milliamp hour, which doesn't sound overly impressive. And with the Amazfit, it says that you get 10 days of heavy use. And heavy use, I think, is mostly the GPS. If you have your always-on display on this, and you have your heart rate monitoring every minute, and your SpO2, and you have a lot of messages coming in, you have your display on a lot, and you have it on bright. Obviously, all that stuff kills the battery, but I think the big one is the GPS. And again, Amazfit says 10 days. I typically got about 7 days on it. So Amazfit says you get 14 days on regular use, and usually Amazfit is a little overestimates a little bit. So I usually get a few days less than they say, but on this watch, the Amazfit Active, I actually got 14 days and even more some days, some cycles. So this is the first Amazfit product that I have that actually beat their listed battery life, which is pretty amazing. Now to charge it, pretty standard, 2 hours to get a full charge on this. Now the other disadvantage is you need a proprietary cable on this. I wish Amazfit would just give me a wireless charger on this, but it hasn't. So you have to bring that cable with you, and you have to remember it, not lose it, and all that kind of stuff. But that's what it is. So let's talk about some sensors on this. It has the standard 24-hour heart rate, SpO2, and stress monitoring. It has high and low heart rate alerts. It has a low SpO2 alert, and it also has high stress alerts if you set those. For the Bluetooth, it does have 5.3, which is the latest Bluetooth, but it doesn't have NFC or Wi-Fi, so there's no mobile payments on this watch. And it does have built-in GPS, which is nice, and it also has the built-in GPS with 5 satellite positioning systems, which is nice, and I found the GPS to be very accurate on this, and it locked very quickly every time I used it, so I had no issues with this GPS on this watch. Now, a couple of premium sensors that Amazfit adds on the Amazfit Active is you get a temperature sensor, which is not really seen very often, especially at this price point. Now, the temperature sensor is not designed to catch a fever on you or see if you're sick or anything like that. Basically, it's designed to give you better sleep information and better sleep tracking. It also allows the Amazfit Active to track your female cycles. It also does come with a compass, which I had to reset a few times. I set it one day, then I had to reset it the next day. But since then, I've had no issues with it, and the compass works perfectly. The Amazfit Active also does have an AI coach, which is actually a nice kind of a premium feature for this price point. The AI coach will actually come up with a workout schedule for you based on your previous workouts, or you can enter your goals and it will come up with a workout schedule for you. And then it modifies the schedule depending on how you're doing. The Amazfit Active also does some sleep tracking. It tracks REM, deep sleep, light sleep, and awake times, and it also does track naps if longer than 20 minutes. And the Active also does give you a readiness score each morning. So let me just show you that, just so you are familiar with it, because that's actually, like I said, kind of a premium feature that you don't get on a lot of different watches. So if you click here, last night it was 80, so that's great. And I'll just show you a little more of what's involved with this. It does give you, your physical recovery, your mental recovery. And if you click on it, it does give you a little more information. And then we got sleep, resting heart rate, and your heart rate variability, and it just kind of gives you good, optimal, general guidelines on here. It does give you breathing quality, and this is actually accurate. It did detect I had an issue, and I do have an issue, so pretty impressive that they found that. And then we got the temperature on here, and again, it doesn't give you too much details, but it just gives you, some little information there. Okay, so now a lot of people get this watch obviously for workouts. So what features does it have for that? So the Amazfit Active does auto detect 7 workouts, and you could toggle any of these on and off. So you could auto detect whichever ones you want on there, and you can also turn the whole thing off if you'd like. There are 120 sport modes on here, which is probably, again, way more than you ever need, but they are there if you're interested in them. The Amazfit Active also does give you a lot of fitness information and workout information, including your training load, your training effect, and your VO2 max. Just keep in mind the VO2 max is only supported on the outdoor running workout. So the workout data screens are very customizable. I'll just show you that quickly, just so you know what's going on with that. So you go to workout here. We're just going to pick anything. And then we just scroll up here. Then we go into more. And this is the data page. So this is the data that's going to be shown on your workout. And if you don't need this stuff, if you don't want your calories or you don't want your heart rate or anything, you just kind of click on it, and then you can pick anything else that you want here. And heart rate class, you could see all these things that are available. And if you do customize this page, it will be customized to that exercise that you were doing. So that's very nice if you have specific needs for different exercises. You could also import GPX files on this watch, which again is not a feature that many watches have. Usually you have to go into a premium watch to get that, but this Amazfit Active does have that, and it works well. You also do get a PAI on here, which is basically a personalized activity score for your last 7 days, and it just keeps a rolling 7-day period of your activity and gives you a score. You try to get to 100 if you can, but this way it just gives you a little more information about your actual activity instead of just giving you a daily step counter. So another feature is basically a customization of how you have your app list shown. So I have pushed a button here, I get the app list. This is the classic pattern where you have the icon and the words in the description next to it, but you could change that. If I just go into the settings here, and I'll just show you what it looks like. If we go into preferences, and we just got to scroll down here, the list style, and then we could have it the 9 box or the classic, which is what I had. But if you go into the 9 box, then we get this. And, I don't like that as much, but, some people do. So there it is. You could also change your icon themes on here. There's 3 different themes that you can change. So if you are getting a little bored, you could, jazz it up just a little bit. Another nice feature on this is that you can pair your earbuds on here, which is, again, I think a little bit of a premium feature. So if you just go into Bluetooth, you got your headphones on here. All you need to do is have your headphone in pairing mode, hit this, and this is going to search and find it, and your earbuds are paired. I had no issues setting that up. So it is a nice option that you can have your earbuds paired to the watch, have your music on the watch, and you got the built-in GPS. So if you want, you can go for a run and just leave your watch at home, and you can still keep track of your data and listen to music, which is nice. Speaking of the music, you can store up to 250 megabytes on this. So another nice feature on the Amazfit Active is there is something called a one-tap measurement. So basically, if you go into here, you go into your apps, and you click on this thing here, and what you're going to do is you're going to get your heart rate, your stress, and your SpO2 all at the same time, and that takes about 45 seconds to do. You could also store membership cards on the watch, but again, they're just membership cards with like a little barcode on there, so you could, if you get into the gym or you have a train pass or something like that, you could use that, but there is no NFC payments on this. So you do get 100 plus watch faces on here, and there's not much customization on each one, but sometimes you can change one of the data points or the color or something like that. But with 100 watch faces, I think you'd find something that you like. So let's talk about software updates. So Amazfit does not guarantee any kind of software updates on this. There's no time frame on it. There's no schedule that they have. But I've had a lot of Amazfit products for many years, and they update honestly pretty frequently. A lot of times they just do some bug fixes, but a lot of times when Amazfit comes out with a new watch, they have new features that they add, and they actually update a lot of those features to the older watches if they can do it. So the watches I've had have been supported fairly well, I think. Now let's talk about the Zepp app. So here's the Zepp app right here. Let's go ahead and click it. Now you got 4 categories here on the Zepp app. This is the home page with all your data basically. And this could be all edited. You got your sleep information here, which is, I don't know, pretty detailed. And then we got the workouts. This shows you all your activity that you've had, and you could edit this as well. Then we get into the profile. And in here, there's a lot of different settings and features that you can get into. If you click on here, there's a lot more settings. So in my customization video, I get into this in depth. So I think the Zepp app is actually very nice. Now, it is a closed ecosystem, so there is no third party on here. You can't go at the Apple Store or Google Play or anything like that. Nothing could be added to here except from the Zepp app. So it does control the whole ecosystem on that. So that's a little bit of a disadvantage. I think the Zepp app is very good, and they have updated it actually several times since I've had Amazfit products. Another nice feature of the Amazfit products is that they all could be used with Apple or Android products, which is great. And this watch does have a mic and a speaker, so you could actually make and take phone calls on this. So let me just show you the phone app quick. There we go, and just click on that. So here we have the recents, obviously self-explanatory. Top contacts, these, you could download contacts into the watch if you'd like, and obviously you wouldn't want to have 100 contacts in here because then you'd have to scroll through all of them. So you could pick the ones that you call frequently, the top 10 or 20, and you can put them on there. And then also you get a dial pad on here where you could just dial your number. And again, you have a nice mic and speaker on here. I heard everyone very well through the speaker, and on the other end, they said I sounded fine. It is a smartwatch, so you wouldn't want to have long conversations on this. Holding your wrist to your head, you look like an idiot. But for the brief calls, if your hands are full, or you're just calling to someone, or they're calling you, and you're just telling them, "Hey, I'll call you back in a minute," or something like that. I thought the watch worked perfectly for that. Now, let me show you the text features that you have. Now, again, the phone app works very good, and making phone calls on the watch works out great. Texting is not as great as I said before. You don't get the images, and you're losing a lot of the emojis. If you go on here, let me just click and show you. If you go to app alerts here, fast reply management. So this is the basically your canned responses that you can set up. So there's 5 that are on there. You could edit these, or you could add whatever you want on there, and you could have like 20 different messages that you have listed there. So for the quick replies, you just when you get a text, or even if you're getting a phone call, you could just scroll up, you get the text here, you hit one of these, and that goes out to the person. There is no keyboard or speech to text or anything like that. So basically all your fast replies are right here, and this is all you could reply with. So that is definitely a little limiting. So the Amazfit Active has Alexa Assistant built in, which works actually very well. You do have to link it with your Zepp account and sign in and all, give the permissions and all that kind of stuff. But once you set it up, it actually works perfectly. You do have the mic and the speaker on here, so you could just ask Alexa a question about the weather. You could have a set a timer. You could set a calendar event, any of those things, and it will call it out through the speaker, which is really nice. But there is no wake-up word on this, so you actually have to toggle Alexa on like this, and click on it, and then Alexa will be connecting and then listening, and then you could ask it a question or do whatever. Now, for my recommendations here, this is, again, $150, which does give you a lot of kind of premium features on the watch. Now, if you're not using those features that I went over in this review, then obviously don't get this watch. Maybe you can get away with a cheaper watch because this is $150. Plus, if you don't love everything about this watch, just a little bit more, if you're just staying in the Amazfit family, if you went up to the Cheetah Round or the Amazfit Balance, those watches do give you a bigger display and a couple of extra features on there. But the Amazfit Active actually does give you a lot of features for the price. It does have a nice AMOLED display on here that's nice and crisp and sharp. It does have a great battery life. It does have some extra features that are not typically found in this price range. Now, the only thing, as I said before, is that this strap is kind of small. So again, with my wrist, this didn't really fit all that great. So if you do have big hands, big wrists, this may not be your watch. But if you have a smaller wrist and the screen size is nice for you, this is a great watch to have. I will be coming out with a comparison video between this and the Bip 5, and maybe even this versus, the Amazfit Balance or the Cheetah. That just gives you an idea if it's worth upgrading to the more expensive watch. So the Amazfit Active does fit right, I think, right in between the budget and kind of the premium Amazfit products. Hopefully this was helpful for you, and if it was, please consider subscribing and liking. That really does help me out a lot. And if there's anything I missed or anything you liked or didn't like about the Active, please put it in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.